the lesson topic for this video is types of angles in trig. All right, so first of all, we need to talk about what an angle in standard position is. An angle in standard position is an angle whose vertex is the origin. So we've got our vertex right there at the origin. And the initial side of the angle lies on the positive x-axis. So this is the positive x-axis right here. So my angle is going to be created with its initial side of that angle, or its first ray, on the x-axis. Now, the other ray of our angle goes somewhere else. Let's say, for example, over here. Okay? So now what we have is we have an angle in standard position. Now, this again, this ray is our initial side. Initial meaning beginning. And therefore this one here would be called our terminal side. Terminal side, because terminal means the end. All right, so initial side and terminal side. Our angle is right here. Right now we know that angle is somewhere between 90 and 180 degrees. Doesn't look like it's quite in the middle. I would estimate this to be about 140 degrees. Notice some angle measures are labeled in this diagram that are very important. We're going to use these a lot. 0 degrees and 360. We'll talk about that in a second. So 0 degree angle, obviously both rays would be right on the x-axis. We move up to a 90 degree angle. If you add another 90 degrees from this 90 degree angle, if you add another 90, well, we get to 180 over here, which would be a straight angle. If we added another 90 degrees onto that, well, that's 270. And then again, if we add another 90 degrees, we'd get over to 360. And we could keep going, by the way. We could add another 90, and we'd be at 450, etc. So we can go around many, many times, and we'll see that in some of our examples. Okay, so the first thing we need to make sure we can do is we need to make sure we can draw a specific angle measure in standard position. All right, so this first one is a 240 degree angle. In order to draw this angle in standard position, the first thing we need is we need the vertex at the origin, and we need its initial side on the x-axis. Now, using the degree guides we had on the previous screen, which was 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, adding another 90 would give us the 270 degree angle down here. Where would 240 degrees be? Well, 240 degrees would be in between 180 and 270, of course. If you think about this being 180 degrees and 270, halfway in between them, you'd have to add 45 degrees onto 180, and that would be 225. So we know 240 will be greater than halfway, greater than 225, so it's going to be over in this region here. We'd have to add about exactly 60 degrees on to the 180 to get to 240. So our angle in standard position is right here. All right, let's try the next one, 70 degrees. Again, original point at the vertex of the angle at the origin, initial side on the x-axis. Sorry, I kind of make it too thick there. And 70 degrees. Well, we know 70 degrees is less than 90 degrees, so it's going to be somewhere in this region here. Remember, halfway between 0 and 90 would be 45, and we're obviously well beyond 45 to be about 70 degrees right there. Okay. And how about negative 50? Well, negative 50 means that instead of going counterclockwise, we would have to go clockwise. Again, notice that in this one, we're going counterclockwise to get to our terminal side. Here we're going counterclockwise, the opposite of clockwise, to get to our terminal side. So if it's negative, we're going to go clockwise. So we've got our vertex at the origin and the side on the initial side on the x-axis, and we need to go negative 50. Well, this right halfway would be negative 45, so we need to go beyond that to get to negative 50. So probably right around, right around here. This direction here, negative 50. Okay, so how would we draw an angle that is 370 degrees? Well, 370 degrees, we're going to start with our vertex on the origin and our initial side on the x-axis. And we know to go 370 degrees, we actually need to bring our terminal side of our ray all the way around 90, 180, 270, 360, and then further by about 10 degrees. So it would be about, here. If you think about how we would label that arc around for that angle, we'd go, okay, this angle went around, and then all the way through, and then all the way to there. Whoops, I went a little further there. But we do actually draw this little arc all the way around to here to show that we went around not just 360 degrees, but 370. So, what about if I drew a 10-degree angle on this same picture? Well, a 10-degree angle would start at the origin and have the initial side along here, and then it would go up just 10 degrees, which would be right there. Well, that means the 370-degree angle and the 10-degree angle are coterminal angles, because they are angles in standard position whose terminal sides, the end ray, coincide or are in the same location. So coterminal angles can always be found by adding or subtracting 360 degrees from another angle. So this 10-degree angle here, if I added 360 to it, I get to 370 because they are coterminal, so they just are a difference of 360 one way or another. Let's practice. Okay, so for these examples, we want to find the smallest positive, so no negative values here, the smallest positive coterminal angle for each angle that's shown. And we're going to draw the angle in standard position. So if you think about a 485-degree angle, what that is an angle with its initial side on the x-axis here. This angle will travel all the way around to here, and that's 360. And now we have to determine how much further we need to go to get to 485. So if you think about 485, and so far we've gone 360 degrees around, what we're going to have left is 125 degrees. So we need to go an additional 125 degrees. Well, from here, which is where we are right now, we would go 90 degrees to get to here, and we need to go more than 90. We have to go to 125. Halfway between 90 and 180 is 135, so we know we need to go to less than that, which would be right around here. Okay, so this is going to travel all the way around to here. Now that is our 485-degree angle. Again, thinking about this terminal side of the angle, we start here at the initial side. That initial side, or the terminal side, goes all the way around through here and then back all the way to here to get to 485 degrees. So now what is the smallest positive coterminal angle for this angle? Well, you see it right here in front of you. And what you see is, again, initial side, and then the terminal side right here. Well, that's 125 degrees. So that's our answer for this first question. 125 degrees is our smallest positive coterminal angle for a 485-degree original angle. All right, so let's try this next one. Okay, so first of all, our initial side is here, and we have a negative 75-degree angle. Well, negative 75 is going to go clockwise. We're not going to go all the way down to 90 degrees, but less by about 15 degrees, so probably right in here would be a negative 75-degree angle. Well, if that's negative 75, what is the smallest positive coterminal angle? Again, an angle that terminates here. That would end up being the angle that starts here and goes around to here. So again, we already see the angle it is right here. Okay? Again, because this was our original angle, this negative 75 degree, so the smallest positive coterminal would be here. And how many degrees would that be? Well, what we would need to do here is we would need to take the negative 75 degree angle that we started with, and we would need to add 360 degrees to it to get to a positive coterminal angle. And when we do negative 75 plus 360, we get 285 degrees, and that will be what the measure of this blue angle is right here. 285 degrees. All right, so how about an 800 degree angle? If you'd like to pause the video and try this one on your own and then restart it, that might not be a bad idea. But we're going to start by creating an 800 degree angle so we can see where the terminal side of the original angle is. Well, it goes around once, and that's 360. It goes around again, and that's 720. So how much further would we need to go to get to 800? Well, another 80 degrees. Well, 80 degrees would be about here. Okay, whoops, maybe that's a little bit small, but less than 90 for sure would be where that terminal side would go. We would need to go that additional 80 degrees. So again, this 80 degree angle right here is our smallest positive coterminal angle for the 800 degree angle. Again, you can think about this as our original angle. We take away the 360 that we went around all the way one full circle, and that will leave us with 440. We'd have to subtract another 360, and when we subtract another 360, we get 80, which is where that 80 degree angle comes from.